Yo guys, what's up? Today we're doing something completely new on the channel. I've been wanting to do this for a while, not gonna lie. Switch things up, keep things fresh. So today we're gonna be reacting to YouTube's Darkest Video 7 by Nick Crowley. If you haven't seen his videos, he makes some of the spookiest, best, most entertaining videos. And as you can see, I turned off the main lights in my room to really get the vibes, to really get the vibes going. So yeah, without further ado, I'm ready to get spooked out a little bit, entertained for the next 30 minutes. So yeah, let's start the video. Flashing images. Okay.
It's December 4th, 2003.
Okay. Is this like a child abduction video or what is it?
I'm gonna go try to get them to stop doing that.
A police officer walking in a local park in Arlington, Virginia, is approached by a concerned family, claiming that someone in a nearby neighborhood had been shooting off a flare gun. The officer could hear it too, and following the sound, he eventually found himself at the home of 56-year-old James Yu. The man lived alone in his half of this duplex, and was described by neighbors as a recluse known to exhibit unusual behavior. Across his social media, he made posts claiming that he was the victim of fraud at the hands of all sorts of
Aren't we all,
government
man? Aren't we all,
agencies, and
James?
deep distrust of the U.S. government as well as law enforcement.
Okay.
And he believed that numerous people were attempting to kill him, like his ex-wife, the FBI, and even his neighbors.
The FBI?
His posts seemed entirely
Damn,
nonsensical,
James, what you
and
do?
so did many of his actions. In the months prior, he had covered up all of his windows with garbage bags and aluminum foil, and he even wrapped his trees in toilet paper.
Oh yeah,
Though
this
his
is a
actions are
conspiracy
entirely
theory kind of dude, huh?
harmless, on this day, things were becoming far more troubling.
Oh, he's...
When police arrived at his home, you would be seen firing his flare gun out of his window and into the air, over
What
and
is he
over
doing?
again. And despite repeated attempts to get him to stop,
Arlington County Police! Stop shooting the flares!
What?
Mr. Yu!
he didn't let up, shooting 41 flares in the span of just 25 minutes.
Damn!
With no explanation.
How do you even
In
have that
fact, he
many?
didn't even say a single word. Understandably, police were eager to get Yu out of his home for questioning, as at this point it wasn't obvious whether or not he was a threat. And so for hours and hours they called out to him, first asking and then demanding that he exit his home.
James, Arlington Police, come to the front door with your hands up to the town. We have your building surrounded.
But still, there was no response.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't trust him, so why would he? But damn, James.
The police would eventually bring in a specialized vehicle to bust
I
down the
can
door and spray
imagine.
the inside of the
Oh
home
my
with
god, are they
all
gonna
in an
ram
attempt
that
to
through the
draw
door?
you inside.
James, stay away from your front door.
James, come to the front door, Jay. Oh my god. I ain't never seen anything like
In
this.
response, you began firing once again. Only this time, he wasn't using flares.
Oh shit. Damn.
And instead, he was now yielding an actual gun.
He
Thankfully,
evolved,
none of
man.
these shots connected, but with the situation becoming increasingly dangerous, the officers decided to fall back, as they carefully came up with a new plan for apprehending you.
Use a tank.
Though whatever they had been planning
Just blow
would
it.
never
Blow the
come
whole
to
house up.
fruition.
Yeah.
The fuck? Whoa! The hell? Did he use a bomb or something? Or did he do that? No, I think they did. Oh my god! Yo, when I said use a tank to blow his house up, I was just joking. I didn't think they were actually gonna do it. Or did he do it? I don't even know, but what?
In a split second, the home was gone, as a massive explosion rang out from inside the house, reducing the entire structure to rubble. Inside the house, you had stored 55 gallons of gasoline in his basement, which he saved for that moment to ignite with no warning and no explanation.
Dang, I was not
Based on
expecting
footage,
that.
It's been theorized that Yu's actions were an attempt to lure police into his home.
Yeah, and
so
blow
that he
them
could then
up.
set off this explosion.
He was
and
trying to
take
do a
them all out,
Cersei.
along with his neighbors, as he genuinely believed that both parties were conspiring to kill him. Though somehow, when the smoke cleared, no civilians or police officers had so much as been injured.
Homeboy was
All that was found in the
prepared.
rubble was the remnants of a single body.
Literally some Cersei type shit from Game of
Though for a
Thrones.
moment, this wasn't the end of James Yu's story. Before that
It's
body
not?
could be identified, reports across social media began emerging showing that James Yu was somehow still alive.
How?
After the blast, comments were being made on what appeared to be Yu's YouTube channel, where he stated that this whole thing was a cover-up and that he wasn't even inside the home when the standoff started, which looking back, we never actually see him, and we also never hear his voice.
That's
Numerous posts
true.
pointing out this development would go viral and cause mass confusion about the story, which was only heightened when it was revealed that the body inside that building was in fact James Yu. Though in the end, it wasn't really as mysterious as some originally thought.
Yeah.
As it turns out, the posts showing these comments failed to realize that this wasn't actually Yu's account.
It was just another
It had a
account.
completely different username, with the account likely
7
having been created as nothing more than a hoax. To this day, though, there are some that still believe that this was all some sort of massive cover-up. But in reality, it just seems that this was the result of a man gripped by crippling paranoia and loneliness, with it all coming to a head in what has gone on to become one of YouTube's darkest videos.
I did not expect that. He blew up his whole pad. Holy shit. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. It's a little too low. I don't want to do it full because, like, you know, mess up my audio.
The internet is a dark and disturbing frontier.
This
year alone, countless people have fallen victim to high-profile data breaches, raising serious concern about
that
personal
scares me.
information security. Ticketmaster experienced a breach compromising over 560 million of their customer records. But most alarming of all, the National Public Data announced that they too had suffered.
Oh my god,
breach,
don't tell me this is an ad.
9 billion records were leaked.
It's an ad, right?
Impacting every single American. And these leaks included critical personal information,
never mind.
such as
I thought it
full
was an
names, addresses,
Is it an
dates
ad?
of birth, phone numbers, and even social security numbers.
I already know this,
If you
though.
haven't been taking your online security seriously, then it's time for a change.
Oh my
Thankfully,
god,
our
it is an
security
ad!
Today's sponsor, Aura. Aura monitors your personal data,
Ah,
including your social security
he transitioned
number,
so
across billions of
seamlessly
different
into it that I
data
thought,
points, which includes
oh
the
my
dark web and our
god.
court records. To alert you about
Now, let me skip
potential
this real
identity
quick. You
theft,
could get your
they
bag,
even
Nick.
provide up to There was really nothing else like it.
What is this?
This obscure 27,000 square foot structure allowed visitors to enter into what must have felt like another dimension. It was an exhibit called Dream Space and was the creation of British artist Maurice Agus, a 74-year-old artistic visionary.
Oh, I can tell he's
obsessed with the
British.
idea of
I can
creating
tell he's
large-scale
British. Don't tell me
surreal
how.
environments. And this was his magnum opus. The structure was inflatable, akin to a massive bounce house, and once inside, guests were confronted with a labyrinth of brightly colored walls and cells, twisting and turning into some sort of surreal maze that patrons were told to lose themselves in. This piece of art premiered back in 2004, and due to its inflatability, it was actually built to travel, making stops in major cities in the UK, before it was eventually set up at Riverside Park in Durham on the 22nd of June, 2006. The very next day, 68-year-old Elizabeth Collins would visit the area with her husband and her daughter, as well as her 14-year-old grandson. And spotting this unusual structure in the distance, Elizabeth's grandson insisted on checking it out, excitedly taking off his shoes and running inside. And while the rest of the group was more apprehensive about entering, Elizabeth eventually decided to accompany him, leaving her husband and daughter on the outside, though not before turning back to them and joking that she was going in to find peace and serenity. Outside, Elizabeth's husband and daughter sat at a nearby table and enjoyed a cup of tea whilst conversing about the events of the week, only for the man to turn his head and notice that Dream Space was slightly moving, to which he excitedly said, "Oh, it's a ride, it's a ride. I wish I had gone on it." The daughter then turned her head to see the structure as it began to rise up off the ground.
Oh no.
To which she chillingly responded, "It's not a ride."
What happened? Did the wind take you? What's going on? It doesn't look windy. Damn. Yeah, I think the what? What? Why did it just come up like that? It had to have been the what? What happened? Oh shit! I hit my mic. My bad. Right? Was it the wind? Like, but it looks pretty big. Thought it would have been more stable though.
In that moment, Dream Space had snapped from its moorings and was blown into the air by a massive gust of wind. Agus just so happened to be standing at the entrance as it began to shift, and noticing what was happening, he grabbed on as he desperately tried to hold down his entire life's work, though clearly this was of no use. And after being lifted in the air, his grip failed, sending him falling back to the ground below where he lay staring up at his creation that was now flying 30 feet above him.
Damn. Yo, if there was people in there, holy shit. But it seems pretty padded, right? So I don't think it. But yeah, probably people got hurt.
Inside, there were as many as 30 people who were now being thrashed around this giant inflatable structure in a scene that I truly can't even imagine. The claustrophobia of it, the dizzying colors, the screams.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
genuinely one of the most horrific scenarios I've ever heard. The inflatable structure was airborne for well over a minute, folding into itself before finally crashing back down into a parking lot, leaving behind what was described by witnesses as a field of bodies.
Oh,
Worst of all, the majority of those in attendance were families with small children, with one 7-year-old girl recounting her experience, saying, "It was very scary and people were screaming. I saw a lady clinging on and then falling out, and then she was lying on her back with people around her. I think she died."
Yeah, I think she died too.
This lady was most likely
Oh, no,
68-year-old
Elizabeth!
Collins, who had been ejected from the structure when it was in the air, with her injuries being catastrophic and unsurvivable.
Sheesh.
Of all the others now sprawled throughout this field of grass, most were left injured but thankfully not in serious condition, though this wasn't the case for 38-year-old Claire from Edge, who had been inside during the accident with her 2 children, and despite her kids surviving, she was sadly not so lucky, with Claire and Elizabeth being the sole fatalities of the incident.
And now they're not gonna have a mother just because of that. That's pissed
The
me
video
off.
is terrifying, and though it's easy to say that this could have been so much worse, considering how many people were in dream space at the time, the consequences were still catastrophic, as it devastated 2 families, and likely left many others at the scene traumatized for life, especially the young children. But how could this have happened? Well, that day was particularly warm, which likely caused the air inside the structure to expand, causing a hot air balloon-like effect, which was then exacerbated by sudden strong gusts of wind, which eventually caused the structure to go airborne, as in the end, it just wasn't properly secured for the conditions. Soon after the incident, Maurice Agus was arrested for manslaughter, though he would ultimately only end up paying a small fine, as he vowed to never create a large work again. Just a few years later, in 2009, Maurice Agus would pass away, with his legacy forever being defined by this devastating footage.
Damn. That was a crazy ass one. What the heck?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Serena.
On October 2nd, 2006, police entered the home of 31-year-old Elaine Campione, where inside they found the woman speaking incoherently. Next to her was a VHS camera, depicting a series of disturbing events that had transpired within the home over the previous months and days, with the footage eventually finding its way onto YouTube.
Hi, Serena. It's August 8th, 2006. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
The tape starts with Elaine pointing her new camera at her daughter Serena. It was her 3rd birthday, and to celebrate, Elaine had left a brand new bike in the living room.
Aw.
What is it?
Days later, the footage continues, showing Serena once again as Elaine asks,
Does Mama love you?
Aw.
Oh, I love you more than that. How much does your Mama love you?
Elaine then shows her other daughter Sophia, who was just a baby, before turning the camera on herself and showing the kids how the device worked.
Hi. See how the camcorder works? Look. Look. Hi. Is that Mommy? Hi.
Wonder what happened.
So far, the footage seems like nothing more than your standard family home videotape,
Yeah.
and appears completely wholesome. Though
It
with
does.
the next recording, the tone begins to shift,
Oh,
and things
no.
start to become slightly concerning.
This is
Okay.
a deplorable, horrible, messy, filthy apartment that supposedly my 2 children and I live in, and it's just a horrible, horrible mess. Yeah. I think Diego Campione is totally in the wrong, and I hope he burns in hell for all his sins.
Diego.
The same as Leonardo.
As Elaine shows the camera her home, she begins joking about how they are living in deplorable conditions, before randomly calling
too
out
bad.
2 men, who she says she hopes burn in hell,
Like her
all while
husband?
their children are in the same room. She starts to grow more and more agitated.
All I wanted to do was take care of my 2 little girls and live happily ever after the 3 years of physical, emotional, and mental abuse that I endured tremendously by Leonardo Campioni,
Who
and in
is
the past year from Anna and Diego Campioni, the mental and emotional abuse.
Outright
this is like
saying
the
that she was
dad?
abused by a man named Leonard Campioni, who happened to be her ex-husband
Yeah,
and
I
the
knew it.
father of these children.
I knew
And
it.
she goes on from there, with each moment clearly making the kids more and more anxious.
I want justice to my family for what they have all done to us. I cried out for help. They should have charged him for the assaults he did to me.
Eventually causing Elaine to snap out of it and stop the camera.
And my poor 3-year-old, I did everything to protect. What are you saying, Sophia? What do you want?
The video then skips forward once more, with this footage being taken just days before the police were called, showing Serena coloring on the floor as Elaine asks,
Who loves you? Mommy. Who loves you the most? That much? Oh, I think I love you more than that.
The scene that unfolds next was recorded on that very same night, just hours later.
Okay. What the hell is happening? What?
Recording this because you were there. Are you happy? Everything's God. You wouldn't give peace. You wouldn't tell the truth. You didn't care about our babies. You didn't care about me. You cared about yourself. All you did was hurt us.
In the video, Elaine states that everything is gone, as she speaks to Leo directly, accusing him of having ruined their lives with his constant
Please
abuse.
don't tell me
The devil.
you did anything to the kids. Please.
I hate you. I hate you. I
Please.
hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. And I want you to know how much I hate you.
Disturbingly, the children were nowhere to be seen in this
No!
footage, with Elaine eventually addressing them by saying,
God believes me. And God's taking care of us now.
No!
Be protected by
Bro,
God. Thank
I
God.
swear, bitch, if you...
Thank you. Because there's no way I could have them with you. Nothing's good enough for you. It has to always be your way. Well, they're good. And you can have it your way. Your wife and your daughters are dead now. We're all in heaven.
According to Elaine, not only were her children gone, but she was too. She stops the recording soon after. Despite saying this, the camera would actually start up one more time, where Elaine describes how she was still alive, despite having attempted to OD, which prompted her to call the police. When officers arrived at the home, both Serena and Sophia were found laying in her mother's bed, holding hands, and wrapped tightly in rosaries. Neither of them were alive. 2 nights prior, and directly before filming this message, Elaine had brought them both into the bathroom, as it was time for their nightly baths. And once in the tub, she told them to play a game, one where they would place their heads beneath the water and blow out bubbles. When they did this, Elaine held their heads down, and she didn't let go until she was certain they were gone.
Fucking bitch, I hate this bitch. Oh my god, bro. Why? Why the children? They don't have to do anything with your stupid little marriage. I don't give a fuck if you're emotionally unstable or whatever happened between both of you. Like, why do the kids have to pay the price? Like, you're so stupid, and I get it. Oh, she's mentally weak. She's been... I don't care, bro. Like, why are you having kids in the first place? Like, man... So you, and especially you're like, who loves you the most? Who loves you? I love you way more than that. Man, I hate people, bro. Like, oh my, like I just hate people. Like, there's some good souls in the world, but oh my god, there's just so many pieces of shit. Like, there's just so many. Bro, why? They don't have nothing to do, man. They're innocent. That pissed me off, bro. That's ruined my day. Not gonna cap. Who loves you the most? I love you more than them. Bitch ass.
This footage is some of the most disturbing that I've ever seen, as we get a glimpse into Elaine's descent into madness, in the moments directly before she stole
They're so
her children's
sweet
lives.
too, man.
But all of this leaves one obvious question. Why? Well, it was noted during her investigation that the abuse she alleged from her ex-husband Leo seemed to be very real and well documented over the years, leading to Leo not being able to see his children for over a year, with this causing the two to separate, which is when Elaine's mind began to deteriorate. She began believing that people
That's
were
so
following
sad.
her and going to kill her, with this fear of people eventually shifting to a fear of aliens, as she claimed to have seen them on numerous occasions, believing they were following her. Because of this fear,
Man, fuck you, and then fuck the fucking husband too. Like, I swear, grown ass adults don't be like. You made a decision to start a family, to have kids, bro. Like, your life should be depending on them. Like now, like it should shift. Like, Who gives a fuck about your personal problems? And I know it's not that easy. It's not that easy. Things are complicated. So that's why, 50% I think is the divorce rate here in America. So I guess things happen, but bro, the kids don't have anything to do. That's not their fault, bro. Like that shit pissed me off. Like I don't know. Like I I mean, obviously I haven't been in that situation. Like I don't have kids or I don't have like a wife or anything or anything. But like never in a million years would I think I would jeopardize the well-being of my kids just because we two can't hash it out. Didn't hash things out. Like okay, that's whatever. But the poor kids don't have to suffer. They don't have to go through any of that. Like that shit pissed me the hell off, man. And I get that she was going through abuse and like not saying that abuse is like anything lightly or anything that, and I know that affected her because she's claimed that she saw aliens and whatnot. But this all stemmed from them being in like having their little problems or whatever, which spills over to the kids. Like just don't be having kids if you're just gonna be stupid, man. That's my whole
She used
fucking
to let her children out of her
point.
sight, not even allowing her own parents to look after them, causing her to become so attached to
It
these
was so
children that she
adorable.
genuinely began to believe that they were all one entity, which made things incredibly concerning when she became suicidal and eventually attempted to take her own life.
Nah, that's all
Despite Leo's
BS.
more
She was
troubled
just
history, he had
holding a
supposedly
grudge
turned his life
against
around in the
her
years leading
husband,
to
her
the
ex-husband,
switch,
whatever.
and was eventually allowed to start visiting the children on a limited capacity. And seeing the children and seeing the way their mother was behaving, he began to grow incredibly concerned and eventually attempted to gain full custody. And it was this bitter custody battle that seemed to be the ultimate factor that led to Elaine ending the lives of her children.
God's taking care of us now.
Shut the
We're
fuck up.
protected by God. Thank God. Thank God.
Shut the hell up, bro. I don't give a
With you.
Elaine Campione would be charged with 2 counts of murder and would eventually be sentenced to life in prison, with a
Good.
possibility of parole after 25 years.
Fuck.
Today, she's held in a minimum security prison, where she's free to leave once every weekend to attend church and other functions.
Okay. Wow, bro. That one was nuts.
On April 18, 2010, a 39-year-old man named Gavin Collins was released from the HMP Ranby prison in the UK. His freedom would last less than 24 hours, as the very next day he suffered a severe mental breakdown, the result of which was captured partially across several video recordings that later appeared on YouTube. This is the story of his rampage. It began at approximately 9 a.m. in the city of Nottinghamshire when Gavin left his home. As he walked down the sidewalk, those in the area reported him acting strangely, muttering to himself that he was Jesus and that he was invincible. Without warning, he then turned his attention to a random home, which he forcefully entered, stole a man's car keys, and took his vehicle, taking off with no apparent destination. Inside the car, the owner just so happened to have 2 cameras, one being a standard dash cam and the other facing inside the vehicle, giving us a look at Gavin and his apparent mental state.
Oh yeah, homeboys. Oh yeah, he's tweaking.
Just at a glance, it's obvious that Gavin is completely unhinged. For some reason, he was utterly filled with rage, ripping off the rearview mirror and yelling obscenities and incomprehensible threats at no one in particular.
I'm Jesus! I'm descendant of God! And you let me out! Watch this!
He's zooming. Oh my
Most
god.
concerning of all is the speed in which he's traveling, as he starts driving faster and faster, swerving in and out of cars as he passes through busy residential areas, as he reaches speeds that have been estimated to be anywhere from 85 miles an hour to well over 120.
In residential. He's gonna crash.
But somehow, despite countless close calls, every time he avoids collision, at least for the time being.
Yep. Oh, yep. There it goes. Good job, man.
In an instant,
Great
Gavin
job.
smashes the vehicle into a brick home at full speed. With the
And
impact
that's the end of
being
him.
Devastating. And yet somehow, through the destruction, Gavin was not only still alive, but completely unharmed, and also completely unfazed. He pulled himself from the wreckage and immediately turned his attention to a woman driving nearby, and within moments he had forced his way into the vehicle, and was behind the wheel once again, continuing this
Homeboy
strange
thinks it's
driving
GTA.
spree until once again he crashed. And much like the
Again?
initial collision, he survived, walking away unscathed before turning his attention to another random home. In pursuit of stealing his third vehicle, he grabbed a nearby concrete slab and began to smash through the home's doors, bloodying his hand in the process, before eventually making entry. Inside were a mother and her two children, one of which was 5 years old, and the other wasn't even a year. Gavin approached the terrified family, yelling and demanding that the mother give up her car keys, telling her that he was Jesus and that, "Because I am Jesus, I will kill you if you don't give me the keys." And without hesitation, she did as he said. Gavin then went to each member of the family, and with his injured hand, he drew crosses on their forehead, out of his own blood, before taking off with his third stolen car.
Yo, what is wrong with this piece of shit, man? And he just
Once
ran
again,
into an
Gavin was
officer.
driving manically, though this time he was even more reckless, crashing into a brick wall and then a cop car, before setting his sights on a pedestrian.
Oh no.
While speeding through a neighborhood, Gavin would see a man standing innocently near a bus stop, and for whatever reason, the sight of this man enraged him, causing Gavin to slam on the brakes and reverse the vehicle, stepping on the gas as hard as he could, and crashing directly into him, leaving him lying there with devastating injuries. Gavin quickly exited the vehicle and found the man lying motionless on the ground, prompting him to shout, "I've killed him. I've killed the devil." Minutes later, Gavin would crash yet another car into yet another home, though this time the police weren't far behind.
Man, that's crazy, bro. What? He's recording all of this. Oh no, this is the cops POV. Never mind.
Finally bringing his disturbed driving spree to an end. The man that Gavin had struck was 87-year-old Terry Radford, a retired
Wow.
teacher whose injuries were catastrophic.
I
with the
can
man
imagine
passing
getting
away
rammed
soon
with a
after.
fucking car.
According to his family, Terry was an incredible grandfather, father, and son.
An innocent
The
person.
footage is genuinely horrifying, but what's most shocking of all is the fact that any of this was even allowed to happen. As stated previously, this was Gavin's very first day out of prison, and based on the behavior he exhibited whilst in prison, he really should have never been released.
Talk about a
Gavin
first
was
day
granted
out.
early release
What
in
the
March of
heck?
2019 for charges based around burglary, but just as he was set to be freed, it was discovered that he had submitted an adulterate drug test, which caused his case to be re-examined and resulted in his release being postponed. In response, Gavin lost his mind. Later that month, he assaulted a prison guard before spraying him with an unknown liquid that contained bleach, before proceeding to set his cell on fire and attacking another officer with a piece of wood. Due to his actions, Gavin was placed into an isolated cell, where less than a week later he started yet another fire, and when an officer entered his cell to put it out, Gavin struck them in the head and pulled out a plastic knife, threatening to slash him, stating that it would be a thrill to kill him. Gavin's stay in
Yo,
prison
this
clearly
this
hadn't
guy.
rehabilitated him. In fact, it seemed to have made him more violent than ever before, and more mentally disturbed. Though shockingly, despite all of these additional crimes, Colin's release would go on to be approved less than
What?
2 weeks later.
How?
With him being set free on April 18th, and within just 24 hours.
Well, y'all see what happens when you release somebody. Man, how did he get away with all this in prison and you
During
still?
his trial, it was
Oh
revealed
my
that no
god.
drugs were found in his system, and instead, this all seemed to be the result of some sort of psychotic episode that just so happened to be captured on camera in one of YouTube's darkest videos.
What? Yo, that was a great video. Damn. A lot of cool, not cool. Let me rephrase it. Not cool videos, but you get what I'm saying. It was entertaining. But I mean, yeah, if you guys wanna, I can react to more of his videos. I've only seen a few here and there. One that I haven't seen is that one of the darkest kids TV shows or whatever. That one seems interesting, so I can watch that one. And yeah, just let me know if there's any other videos like this that you'd like me to watch. I really want to do more of these videos, like stray away from just anime. Like I want to do reactions to all kinds of stuff. I don't know, I just find other stuff interesting too, not just anime. So if you guys would like that, let me know. Feel free to recommend me anything. It doesn't have to be scary. It could be like interesting, entertaining, just anything, you know? I'm an open book when it comes to suggestions like that. So yeah, other than that, I had an amazing time watching this. Hopefully you guys did too. It's been your boy Stoic Sabio. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe. And I'm out. Peace.